I've had my A7R3 for about a month now. I think it's time to share the why. Now this is not going to be some crazy in-depth geeky review considering this camera's been out for some time now, but I'm going to share why I chose that camera as my second camera and why I think you should buy one too. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're digging all these videos, consider subscribing. But I think in order to do this video justice, we need to head to the beach to shoot the sunrise. I'm going to check the Clear Outside app. The conditions look pretty good. I think we're in for an awesome sunrise because it's been looking pretty good the past couple of days. So let's do that now. Now, in order to understand the why, I really think it's important to understand the when. Like when I finally decided I needed a second camera. It was when Cody and I did our first wedding. And then we did a few weddings after that. You see, I only had one camera at the time. Cody had two cameras. So he was doing the photography and I was doing the videography, and we were sharing that third camera. And it was tough for us because we were switching between lenses, the cinematography lenses and the photography lenses. We were going back and forth and switching and trying to make it work, and we made it work and we did a good job. But that's when I realized that having a second camera is a necessity when you're doing especially wedding videography. Now, I'll be honest, for selfish reasons, I wanted a second camera so I could do what I'm doing now, which is shooting a time lapse and still being able to vlog. But this stuff doesn't make me money. Will it in the future? Who knows? The wedding videography and stuff, that does make me money. So getting a second camera was important, but I could have got the A7 III, so why did I get the A7R3? I'm a hybrid shooter, which means I shoot both photography and videography. So I chose the A7R3 because of the 42 megapixel, because it is a little bit more focused on photography than it is videography, although it has the exact same video settings as the A7 III. So I knew I could use it for videography, and if I was gonna do photography, then I knew it was good. Now the 42 megapixels is gonna give me that 26, it's about double what the A7 III is, which means that extra 23 megapixels, my math is wrong, that extra megapixels gives me the ability to punch in. It also gives me the ability to do pixel shift, things that the A7 III does not have. So it's a little bit more focused for photography, which is why the A7R3 is my main time-lapse camera and the A7 III is my main vlogging camera. You don't have to have two cameras to vlog though, so if that's something that you want to do, I could very well be recording this on my phone and shooting a time-lapse with my camera. So the reason why I got this camera was not for vlogging, but it helps with that, right? Does that make sense? I got it to shoot weddings. Now Cody and I both have two cameras. I can keep one lens on the A7 III, one lens on the A7R3, and go back and forth between the two and not have to worry about switching lenses or missing the shot. Maybe I'm too tight inside and I need a wider angle lens. I have another camera already set up with that lens. The convenience of two camera is great. Now back to the A7R3. If you could only choose one camera, I recommend the A7R3. After finally owning and using one for about a month, this is an absolutely amazing camera. I'm already familiar with the A7 III, so I'm familiar with the video settings, but that extra 42 megapixels helps so much. It's allowed me to, I only have a 90mm, so if I need to get a little bit further, I know that I can punch in a little bit further, 5 times, a 10 times crop, whatever the case may be, and not lose a ton of clarity. Sunrise is looking beautiful. I'm gonna take this in. I'm getting hungry actually. So as soon as this sunrise is done, I think we're gonna go to Blue Bowl Superfoods because it's been a long time since I did some Blue Bowl B-roll. Interesting turn of events today. I'm gonna be asking this guy a question in a minute actually. I've had so much go wrong today, I might actually can this vlog, but to be honest with you, the old Paul would do that. The new Paul probably should not can this vlog.
Don't do it, I believe
Long story short, I had highlight metering on, which prioritizes the highlights. So this morning during sunrise, you couldn't see my face at all, and I tried to overexpose and I'm fuzzy. Long story. We're talking about the A7R3, and I'm glad that he's here because he's had one longer than I have. I know that you have an A7R4, but before you bought that, why did you purchase the A7R3?
Flexibility in post with crops. The dynamic range is actually slightly better than the A7 III.
Boom.
So that was one of the bigger selling points. And I can't stress enough, like, I wanted to start printing my work. I also like the flexibility, especially with wildlife, to be able to punch in.
Yep.
And sometimes like you do mess up and the horizon's off. You don't want to like be able to crop and adjust your horizon.
Yep.
And lose image quality.
Yeah,
so that was
absolutely.
one big reason.
Sick, me too. If I used the footage from earlier, then he basically reiterated what I said, but he said it better because, you know, he's got more experience than I do with that stuff. Thanks, Cody. Home from Laguna Beach now. Gotta get a huge shout out to Cody. Thank you for pushing me forward. I really did not want to post this vlog at all. I lost steam after this morning when I was shooting the sunrise. I just made a ton of mistakes. I left highlight metering on. I was doing some things with the camera, so it was underexposed. I tried to shoot a little interview with Linda after Blue Bowl. Audio's destroyed in that completely. So by the time I got to shoot sunset, when I met up with Cody, I was just kind of not feeling it. So I greatly appreciate you pushing me forward and to post this anyways and to help me record the talking points there and just kind of pushing me. I do talk a lot about posting my failures and pushing forward and recording anyways and doing these things. So I'm glad that I did this anyways and I'm pushing forward. But back to the A7R3. I think if you haven't by now figured out the kind of overall theme is the 42 megapixels, the ability to punch in. It's the same video settings as the A7 III, but I think a lot of people overlook the 42 megapixel. Yeah, it might not be as great as the A7 III at ISO 128,000, but when are you ever using ISO 128,000? For the hybrid shooter, for the person who's doing portrait photography, that 42 megapixels gives you the ability to punch in, and that ultimately was the selling point for me. You still have the same battery, you still have the same grip. I mean, it is virtually the same camera. And that's why I think it's A, the most underrated camera currently, but B, it's the camera that a lot of people should buy when looking to get a new camera. In fact, I love this camera so much. Linda and I are gonna be taking a trip up to San Francisco soon here in December. And if I can only manage to take one camera, I'm definitely taking the A7R3. So this is where I'm gonna end this week's vlog. I'm curious though, if you had a choice between the A7 III or the A7R3, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, 1% better every day.